Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes and welcome to a tutorial where we look at 10 different finger grips to play one of the most common chords on the guitar, E7th. Now music theory sets E7th as playing an E, a G sharp, a B and a D simultaneously, struck as a chord. The most common way to play E7th on the guitar, normally the way that we learn it as a beginner, is to play B on the A string and G sharp on the G string, and that's a 6-string strum, perhaps the biggest sounding E7th on the guitar. So those 6 notes we are playing are E, B, D, G sharp, B and E. Great way to play an E7th chord. Now it's important that you know more than one way to play every chord that you play on the guitar. Otherwise you're stuck in the one position with no movement in your rhythm guitar playing. The easiest way to play an alternate version of E7th is to play the same finger grip that we just looked at, but reach out with your little finger and play D on the B string. So this time you can hear that D up high pulls your ear in a different direction. Here's the first E7th. Here's the second one. So it's a different sound. Easy to play. We just add in the note D on the B string to our original 2-finger grip of E7th. Now without moving beyond the 3rd fret, there's an equally exciting way to play E7th, and that is to play an E major chord. So E, B, E, G sharp, B and E, the standard E major finger grip, but again reach out and add D on the B string. Very big full E7th sound. Okay, so that's 3 out of 10 different ways to play E7th, and we haven't moved beyond the first position on the guitar. Now for the 4th way of playing it, let's look at the D7th string grip. It's a 5-string chord in open position there. If we change our fingers for the standard D7th chord to free up our index finger, then slide that shape 2 frets up the fretboard, and then bar, remember it's a 5-string grip D7th, so use our first finger, our index finger, to bar the 5 strings, and because it's an E7th chord, we can actually hit the big E in the bass, leave it open. So here's a 6-string E7th chord using the D7th shape, shifted 2 frets up the neck. And you could just play that as a 5-string version, which is the one I prefer. Because that puts a B in the bass, but we can put the E in the bass and we can do things like... So we can use that open E string and put in a little riff, G, F sharp and E there. Okay, that's the 4th way to play E7. Now if we think of country and western C7th chord on the guitar. Again, one of the very earliest chords we learn on guitar is C major. If we put our little finger down on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, we add a B flat into a C chord, and that makes it a C7th chord. If we shuffle that C7th grip up to the 5th fret and play the same chord, in this case we can strum the 6 strings, we get another way to play E7th. If you're a Creedence Clearwater Revival fan, you'll remember that as the opening riff on Born on the Bayou. E7th. Now on that same position, so that's our 5th way to play an E7th chord, but if we actually lift up, in this case of course we're playing E, E, G sharp, D, E and E. We've got a lot of E's there. So if we lift up our index finger, we'll now introduce a B into the chord. And that's one of my favourite E7th grips. I normally play it like that, same notes, but you can just see I use a different finger grip. Okay, So that's our sixth way of playing E7th. Now, if we think of the A7th grip up here in open position, and if we change those two fingers, so E and C sharp, but I'm using my third and fourth finger, that allows me to then slide that up to where on the A string, so this is on the 7th fret, on the A string that note is E. And there's another way to play E7th in the style of an A7th chord. Okay, so we took our standard A7th, the easiest way to play an A7th. We slid it up to the 7th fret. We've got a lovely, big, fat E7th chord. So we've had three different shapes on the first three frets of the guitar. We've had one where we changed to the D7th shape, that's 4. We had the C7th shape, which is 5. We had the C7th shape where we lift up our index finger, which is 6. We've had the A7th shape now, based on the 7th fret, which is 7. Now, if we take an alternate view of the A7th shape, this one here, which is a way we learn early on the guitar, so that's where I've got E, A, C sharp and G, and I can hit the 6 strings. If we take that down here to the 9th fret and only play the 4 strings that are fretted, because A is not a note in E7, and you know, we can block out the A. So you can see what I'm doing there. That's a little tricky if you're new to playing the guitar. I'm sort of pushing my index finger up enough to stop that A from ringing. That lets me strum the 6 strings, but in fact I'm only sounding 5 of them. So that's one way to play it. The easiest way is just to play it as a 4-string chord. Or, as I showed you before, play the 6 strings but dud out the 5th string. That's the 8th way to play an E7th chord. One of my all-time favourite ways to play an E7th chord is to take the original, easiest way to play it, slide it up 12 frets and leave all the strings open. So what we've got now is a low E, a B, a low D, a high G sharp, a B and an E. We've got 2 high-pitched notes surrounded by 4 low-pitched notes. That's a fantastic way if you do a big tremolo at the end of a song. It's one of my favourite tricks to do on an E7th chord. The 10th and final way that I'm going to show you today, there are many other ways to play an E7th chord, is to simply take that original shape, free up the index finger, so use the 2nd and 3rd finger rather than the 1st and 2nd. Slide the whole thing up to the 12th fret. And now you are genuinely playing that E7th chord 1 full octave higher. That's a quick exploration of the possibilities on the guitar with just using different finger grips to play the same chord. It will totally free up your mind as to the possibilities as a rhythm guitar player. Bye for now.